Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Robert Phoenix, and hopefully, I am not sounding like I'm talking to you from the bottom of an aquarium today. I apologize for yesterday's technical mishaps. It's in vogue to apologize now, of course. If you apologize, you get sort of a pass. It's like, oh, he's sorry. He's sorry. It's like Bob Myers when Kevin Durant went down, sort of apologizing for everything. Blame me, blame me, blame me. I'm the one to blame. So when in doubt, just apologize. Oh, I apologize. I apologize. Oh, I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. 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 To apologize means that you're basically going to the temple of Apollo. That's what you're doing. We're bringing an offering to the temple of Apollo. That's where we get the word apologize from. Right. So basically, you're looking at that person that you're apologizing to as a god. They're a god, and you're not a god in that moment. It's very hierarchical. The whole concept of apology. Aries have this whole thing nailed down. They never apologize. They just do their thing. That's the nature of Aries. Anyway, it looks like I'm streaming live on YouTube now, and just waiting for the peoples to show up. There's Elan. What's going on? Joe. Hello, Joe. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. Chris and Steve. Yep. We're all gathering. The forces are gathering. I sound great. Thanks, Judy. Yesterday was a total clusterfuck. That is the word, clusterfuck, when it came to the production. Because I had put a lot of time and effort into that production. And I get up early and I start putting together videos, video clips, because I want to get things that are fresh, right? Sometimes the night before I might grab something like the kooky Trump accuser, whose latest thing now, have you seen this? So here's her latest quote now. I got to just bring this up. E.G. Carroll, you have not lived, L-I-V-E-D, until you've sat by your mother watching the anal rape scenes in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. What the are you kidding me? Oh, you've not lived. I'm going to try that out. Next time I'm with my mother. Hey, Mom, let's watch Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Oh, by the way, when the anal rape scenes come, you can't look away. You've got to watch that thing, Mom. Because I just know my life won't be complete unless you and I watch that anal rape scene together. What the fuck is this? What is going on with this woman? I mean, is her programming breaking down, or what's the scene here? The thing with Anderson Cooper was just completely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. So, anyway, I thought I'd open today's show with a little bit of humor. I wanted to talk about the state of my programming on YouTube. And it's what I'm going to be talking about for the majority of today's transmission. Not only did I have a difficult time with the audio sync, and that could be on me. I'm trying very assiduously. I'm using as much of my inherent will to not point a finger at YouTube and start blaming YouTube or the system or the spooks or Google, whoever. Okay, so if the audio was on me, it's on me. Maybe it was just a setting on my streaming functionality. Okay, own it. However, there are and have been issues, and they're starting to get bigger with the YouTube situation. First of all, my video was private for a very long period of time yesterday. Like, I wanted to go in, I wanted to edit the image, I wanted to put some tags in, which is what I do. Behind the scenes, after I do this video, what I do is because I don't have tags associated with it from the Boxcast setting. What I do is I go in and I put tags, and tags are virtually useless now, because if YouTube wants to bury your video through search, tags don't mean shit. Because that's what tags do. Tags show up in the search algorithm. So if somebody's searching for something, you've got a tag for that certain thing, it'll pop up. But if they're changing the algorithms, tags are useless. But I do them anyway because I'm thinking that, somehow, some way it might slip through and it might get into the system and somebody might discover this video. By the way, welcome Jesus Corona to the proceedings. Thanks for signing up and being a subscriber. I lose subscribers every now and then. I was looking at, there's a website that allows you to look at your stats via YouTube. And I have two channels. I have this one. I have the 11th House channel, and I don't lose subscribers on the 11th House channel, but I do lose subscribers here. People will drop out every now and then. It's okay. It's all right. It's fine. People don't have to pledge their allegiance to this channel or me, but it's interesting to watch. Anyway, I did not have access to the video I did yesterday for almost the entire day. So I couldn't go in and I could not put those tags in. So the other thing that I do is I will go into Boxcast and I will download the show and I will put the show up on Spreaker. So for some of you who just like to listen to the show, the Spreaker option is always, almost always available. Okay, so you can go to Spreaker.com. I should start putting the link in here. And then I put the show up on Vimeo most of the time. I've got a limit on Vimeo in terms of my bandwidth. I can only do so many videos per week there. But and then yesterday I put yesterday's show up on BitChute because I need to start using BitChute more. Okay, so the problem was I couldn't get in and edit that video for hours. And it shouldn't take that long. Most of the time in the past, my videos have been converted very, very quickly by YouTube from a live stream to an archived broadcast. Lately, it's not been the case, and the video was listed as private. So I've had some videos listed as private. So YouTube is summarily making decisions about the quality or the safety of the content, and so they're making some of my videos private. Yesterday was a case where it was private for almost the entirety of the day. It wasn't until last night that I found out that it was actually published. Okay. Now, the other problem that's emerging with YouTube, and I found this out from somebody over on Facebook, is that they went to go see my videos. They like to come home and watch my video or this video. And YouTube has determined that my videos are not appropriate for that user. Thank you very much, YouTube. And if you're watching this and you're reviewing this, which you probably will because it seems like that's what's going on now, that my videos are under some kind of review. And it's fascinating because if you look at my channel, I don't have a lot of subscribers. I've got like maybe 800 subscribers. If that. If you look at my views per video, a good day over here is probably about 700 views. I think they're more. That's my sense. I think I'm getting more, but that's what it says on the YouTube side of things. So why would they have such an abject interest in me, right? Why would they do that? They theoretically, all these people with much larger channels would get their attention much quicker. Adam Green, who has a ton of people, Adam Green, whose content could be considered much more offensive. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it could be considered much more offensive than mine. It's pretty much a free pass, which is kind of interesting. Like, he has not been demonetized. Well, he's been demonetized, but he hasn't been delisted. But the question is why? Why would they take such an interest in a channel that seemingly doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers or a whole lot of views? You're spending an awful lot of time and effort, energy to make sure that people don't get to see my videos. It must be something, it must count for something. It's not the kind of something that one is kind of looking for in terms of feedback and some kind of success or metrics for success. Right, Jasper? Oh, look at this guy. What a handsome little lion. He's a handsome little lion, this guy, Jasper. Anyway, so I'm having to think about life after YouTube. Now, we've already established a beachhead over on 15 Minutes of Flame, which is why I opened my sort of world to you, said, hey, look, help me start this out, because YouTube is getting funky, and it's gotten funkier since then. So we've already got a beachhead there. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I do list the videos over on Vimeo and BitChute. And BitChute's interesting. BitChute is gotten, I guess BitChute is kind of like the YouTube or video version of Gab or 8chan, apparently. And people just summarily dismiss it as kind of Nazi and right-wing videos. I think Jasper needs his own channel. Maybe this is Jasper's channel. So you could go to BitChute, just look up Robert Phoenix on BitChute, Robert Phoenix on Vimeo. If for some reason these videos are not showing on YouTube. So over the past 24 hours, I've been giving serious consideration about leaving this format. You know, because I put time, energy, and effort, and here's the deal, right? I don't get paid. I don't get paid for this. Every now and then I ask for donations, and you guys come through, which is great. Thank you. You guys came through like champs when it came to getting set up with Boxcast. Perfect, right? But for me to continue to do this, and part of the reason I do it is because it's just kind of in my blood. You know, I started this broadcast back in I think it might have been 2015 now, 2016. I just thought I need to do something every day. There's so much going on. I need to have kind of an everyday outlet. And the idea was that this was going to be really fast and action-packed, and lots of data and lots of kind of Jasper moments. No, Jasper was never in. He was never a part of the actual plan for this show. He just inserted himself. We've talked about that. Now it's too late. I can't get him out now. He's got too much popularity. So, anyway, I am looking at leaving YouTube. And it's a shame because and let me qualify this. Over on 15 Minutes of Flame, I've set it up so that there is a chat there. It's a lot more easier and accessible than I think people have experienced, because there are people that show up every day. Solara's there every day. Judy's there every day. Steve and Chris kind of transmigrate and move back and forth. So it's not like it's an inaccessible tool. So everything that you can experience on YouTube, you can experience over there. I'm looking at other potential streaming options. I'm looking at Twitch, possibly Facebook Live, even though that's probably going to be a dead end at some point too. And then I have some capability of getting this on Roku and then iTunes. But if I get it on Roku and iTunes, those will not be streamed. Those will be archived broadcasts. And I can only imagine how long it'd be on iTunes. Probably not very long at all. Roku's a different animal altogether. However, Alex Jones wanted to be on Roku, and he got chased off. But I don't think you can make the same case for me as you would Alex Jones. I don't think so. Although all it takes is one or two people to be a squeaky wheel. You know, and I've mentioned this before. I got bumped off of Twitter for 15 minutes of flame. And I had maybe two or three tweets, and they were shows. And Twitter, I just went to that Twitter page one time just to see what was going on because I don't really use it. And I went to that Twitter page and was like, I don't have an account anymore. And so I had to actually query Twitter, and I'd say, well, why? Why did you do this? Well, why did you challenge? I had to challenge them. By the way, I've not heard back from Twitter. I have not. So somebody, this is the way Twitter works. Somebody will complain. Somebody will complain, and Twitter will go all the Twitter, and then they'll make a judgment, right? I had 2 or 3 shows, and I didn't even say anything. I didn't have any derogatory tweets. There was no text. It was just links. So Twitter basically made a judgment based on my content on another platform, and that's frightening. That's really frightening. But that's the world we're living in now, and it's just going to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Now that they've created the systems, they're going to start to shut the systems down. Interesting story that's related to this. Dr. Mercola, who I think is a hero. I think Mercola is a hero, and I think we need to support that guy. I think we need to be able to buy our supplements and do anything we can to support Mercola. He's on our side. He has taken a strong stance against vaccines. He gets it. The guy gets it. Google got wind of his position on vaccinations, and guess what happened? They basically screwed with the search algorithms. He lost 90% of his search traffic. 90%. The only thing, it's called native population, right? Native kinds of results, meaning that somebody's going to go right to Mercola and find Mercola. I used to get Mercola's emails delivered directly to my inbox, and they wound up getting stuck into spam. And I like Mercola's. I don't care if he's trying to sell me products. Some of the products are actually really good. But that's what we're up against. And this guy is, in the supplement world, he's kind of a giant. And Google probably gets some kind of financial benefit from surfacing Mercola. It's part of their model. So if they're willing to sacrifice their financial benefit over some kind of ideological win for them, we're in a place where this may as well be the former Soviet Union. Because in a theoretical capitalistic world or society, if people want to spend their money, even if it's on stupid shit like a pet rock, capitalism theoretically rewards that. And I say theoretically. Right? So our choices are determined by where we want to put our money. Companies support those choices by where they want to put their money. And that's the ultimate kind of determination. But that's not the case anymore. That is not the case. Because if you look at some of the channels that have been delisted and deplatformed from YouTube, some of them have been very, very popular, including Alex Jones. Alex has, whether you like him or not, his numbers are huge on YouTube. And YouTube said, okay, well, we'll take a hit. We'll take a hit because our theoretical reputation is better for us than actually making money. And that reputation is arbitrary, by the way. It's all based on these parameters. Okay, he just can't get close enough. If he could, he would crawl right into that screen right now. He'd be on each and every one of your laps. That's what he would be doing. The other night, man, coming home to the headless bird, and it was Rosie. Rosie, you see her every now and then. She makes a little cameo. She looks really sweet. And a sweet little cat. Rosie is a killer. She's a natural-born killer. I'm telling you. Jasper, he's like a comedian, a clown. He's a lover, not Rosie, man. You don't let that sweet little face fool you. Anyway, they're making decisions that are ideological and not economical. And what does that tell you? It tells you we're in another system. We're in another system. It's done. Ideological over economical. So the virtue signal has become the transaction of our time. And even if the virtue signal costs you money, theoretically, it increases your social credit and your cachet amongst people that they believe will be the decision makers in 2020 and tomorrow. So I'm going to think about what I'm going to do over the weekend. Tomorrow, I'm taking the day off. There will be no Friday Farcast. The 11th House channel seems to be fairly insulated at this point. This is why I created 2 channels. I didn't want to do this programming over on that channel because that channel has a different kind of context, and sometimes the two converge. But I want to keep that channel intact. And it's not like I don't pull punches. I just come at the material from a different kind of way in that channel. But here it's a little more raw, a little more uncut, a little more off the cuff, a little more right now. Right? So I'm going to give some thought about what I'm going to do. I'm not really into supporting the beast. And a lot of people will say, well, that's what YouTube wants. YouTube wants people like you and other people to get off YouTube. Well, if they're making my videos private or they're telling people that the content may not be acceptable for them, well, they're already making that decision for me in a lot of ways. And how am I supposed to beat that, petition that? You can't. You know, trying to communicate with YouTube, good luck. Oh, they're happy to communicate with you if you've transgressed. But communicate with them, unless you have, I think, 10,000 subscribers, and you have your own personal person over on YouTube, you communicate with them directly. I don't have the luxury of that. I'm halfway there on 15 minutes on the Friday Farcast side, on the 11th House side. All right, let me check in with you guys, see where you're at, and what's going on in Chatlandia. Let's see, does Patreon will boot me. Patreon will boot me. Somebody asked about Patreon. Dr. Mercola is a real deal. Yep, that's right. I think Mercola is leaving FB. I think there's going to be an exodus of people checking out. I saw if you put in organic in a Google search, all the top merchants don't show up. They've been scrubbed. Yeah, absolutely. Pardon me while I have this final sip of my power coffee. That's right. Yeah. Steve and Chris say we are in the process of moving our video channel over to Vimeo. We just read the Vimeo cancel Project Veritas's account. Geez. Joe, you just Googled Mercola, and his website was top entry and his Twitter number 2. You were in Australia. There are different search results in different parts of the world, and different search results for different people. So I'm not saying that that's not true, but I think that being in Australia probably makes a difference. That's my sense. That's my sense. Who knows what is going on? Oh, I remember it was a letter from the head of one of the better natural pharmacopoeias. I had a Siamese cat named Twiggy. She was extreme. Siamese are trippy cats, aren't they? Very, very trippy cats. Absolutely. Yeah, I think on the Mercola side, if you're in Australia, here, let me do it right now. Let me see what I got. Let me go, let me just type in Mercola since we're having this. Dr. Mercola. Okay. So if you type in Mercola, you're going to get probably a top search result, number 1 natural health site. Okay. But I think what they're talking about with Mercola. Okay, so look at this. Now, if you go right after his website, they have Quack Watch. Dr. Joseph Mercola ordered to stop illegal claims. Quack Watch. Dr. Mercola, visionary or quack. Chicago Magazine. Dr. Joseph Mercola, the ringer. I don't know what the so okay. So there we go. Right after his website is posted, you get two articles or two links that link him to the word quack. Do you see how that works? Do you see how that works? So if you're somebody who put in Joseph Mercola, right? If you put that into the website, if you put that into Google search, probably 5 years ago, you might get the world's leading blah 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 blah. You might get some options that would be much more favorable, positive to Mercola. But the way it's set up now, you get his website because you're typing it in, but then right after that, you get two pieces on him being a quack. Okay? That's how the game works. So if you're somebody who's new to Mercola, and you're kind of, going like this, and you open your eyes, and you type in his name, and then you see those two articles on him being a quack, and you're kind of on the fence, what's that going to do? Potentially it's going to push you back on the other side. Well, you don't want to be a quack. You don't want your friends or your family to consider you a quack. Because if you do, then you're going to be excommunicated, you're going to be alone, and you're going to sit around and nobody's going to like you. You're going to have to figure out who the hell you are apart from everybody else. Not everybody can do that. I was the opposite. I've always been out there, right? For me, it's been the journey in versus the journey out. And it's been an interesting journey. I can tell you that. What else do we have here in chat? I just checked my notifications. Today's stream isn't there. Only came up on my feed. Yeah. I mean, this is what's happening. Let me go over to the other side. I've noticed with big search changes, both through Google and with DuckDuckGo. Yeah, a lot of people like DuckDuckGo. I try to use it. It is not what it used to be. Solar on the other side has Yandex as a search engine, so you may want to check that out. Yeah. But do you see how the game works? You put in Mercola, and then what does Google have? Quack Watch, right? That's what happens. That's what happens. So for Mercola, Google buries Mercola in their latest search engine update. Part 1 of 2. This is from BB. BB's got a new video up, by the way. Check it out. BB does some really good stuff over on the BB blog. So it's not necessarily, I mean, they are according to the link that BB shared, they're burying them, but it is the tangential information that follows Mercola, right? That's how it works. Because if people are on the fence and they see that he's theoretically a quack, then they don't want to go there. They don't want to risk being viewed or labeled different. What's really interesting and paradoxical is that we are living in a time where the mainstream is so utterly and bizarre, at least that's what they want to portray, because this is really important. The mainstream media takes everything and then amplifies it. They just turn the volume up. Let's go back to the 2016 election. Everything was Hillary, 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 Hillary. Hillary this, Hillary that. Hillary's going to win. Polls show this, polls show that, polls show this, polls show that. Everybody's thinking slam dunk, slam dunk, slam dunk. Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. She might have 50 people, but they made it look like she had 500 people in a room with her. And people have broken that down. And that's what the mainstream media does. the mainstream media likes to project and broadcast that everything now is an SJW wet dream, and we're living in and being soaked in and drenched in an SJW world. And I don't want to discount the fact that the SJW guard is rising, because it is. But let's also be clear that the intent of that kind of broadcast is to create a false narrative that it's the dominant paradigm, and it's not. It is not the dominant paradigm. It's only the dominant paradigm because the mainstream media is promoting it to be the dominant paradigm. Just remember that. And what happened in 2016 is that the mainstream media and all these other gatekeepers were unaware that the alternative media was ramped up and ready to go, and they were very active on YouTube and on Twitter and various websites, right? Facebook. And so what they did is they said, no more. No more. This is not going to happen. You caught us unaware. We weren't really prepared. And think about this for a moment. Even though Google is NSA funded and has all the spooks embedded in Google and Facebook, they're all there, right? Even though that happened, they still weren't aware. They still weren't prepared for the amount of participation, the onslaught of people trying to uncover the truth or talk about Hillary or find out what's going on with Hillary. And of course, there was the promotion of Trump, which was part of this thing as well. And when they dumped the WikiLeaks files that came out of the DNC, all that stuff went viral. And everybody was talking about it. I was talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. And it was all being talked about in the alternative news world, right here. The mainstream media weren't really talking about it. If they were trying to like keep a lid on it or talk about it in disparaging tones. So they weren't prepared for what happened. Well, now they're getting prepared. It's taken them just 2 short years now to figure out that they need to change the game algorithmically. They need to use machine learning. They need to use public pressure. They need to use economic pressure, economic force, in order to begin to truncate the ability for people to speak truth to power. Or they need to be able to create a narrative. And that narrative is part of the psychic driving program. And the psychic driving program, to a large extent, is centered around the white Anglo male. We're bad. You know, I was watching this little brief video the other night about how people of rock and roll aren't really as like nice as they seem. There's hidden sides to them. First of all, they're all men. Like the top 10 kind of evil people in rock and roll were all men. And out of that, 9 of them were, of course, white. Okay, it doesn't, they didn't get into Ike Turner, who is ostensibly one of the biggest wife beaters and abusers in the history of music, all around awful person. They didn't get into George Clinton, who essentially left lives and careers shattered, battered, and ruined, tossed to the curb. They didn't get into him. They didn't get into somebody like Courtney Love, who essentially came in and pretty much mind controlled Kurt Cobain, became his handler, got him hooked on heroin. Didn't talk about her. So again, you just look at things like that. It's part of the psychic driving program. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, and that's part of it. That's part of this kind of overarching, architecture program to create a narrative so that the things that YouTube and Google and Facebook are doing are more easily executed. They can do them because there's this growing sense of social outrage. But remember, that is just because they have the microphone. That doesn't mean that that is the dominant paradigm. Just remember that, okay? It's important because what we see, what we're getting through our commercials, what we're getting through news broadcasts, And now what we're getting through these channels, it's not the dominant narrative. It's just not. Because that's what happened when Trump got elected. If Hillary's world were the dominant narrative, she would have been elected. And some people said, well, she won by 3 million votes. Okay, well, that's not taking into account that probably a lot of those races in California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, particularly Nevada, New Mexico, and California, were probably rigged, and huge amounts of illegal voting. You could probably make a case that, through some voter fraud, that those 3 million votes would be accounted for. I don't think that would be that hard of a case to make, right? This wouldn't be. But that's not what happened. Trump won. And this is not again, I'm not blowing the bugle for Trump. It's about the people that voted for Trump. And you may think they're Trump tards, or they're MAGA heads, or they're deplorables, or whatever. But it's really important to understand that these people, this core group, was the group that made the difference. And throughout that entire period, the narrative was that this was not going to happen. Just remember that. It's really important to remember. Because the reality we're being shown and the reality that we're actually living are two very different stories. Speaking of stories, I want to be able to follow up on another story. Apparently, yesterday I was talking about what was going on in Oregon, which is really important. Very, very important. And in Oregon, I think it was called Bill 2020. Bill 2020. That was the bill number, 2020. And that's where the left was pushing their chips all in this bill. So they were going to have their cap and trade, their carbon tax, huge gun control, forced vaccinations. I mean, this is it. They were like, this was the death blow, the dim mock to the right. And Oregon tends to be a fairly conservative state, like where all the population tends to be in terms of the liberal mindset are places like Eugene and Portland and Ashland. You get into places like Medford or Bend, people are very conservative in those places. They just don't have the numbers that Portland and Ashland and Eugene have. They don't have the numbers, they don't have theoretically the money either. So now apparently this big piece of legislation is just going to die. Because, now I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I've read, that the militia, Oregon militia, has vowed to protect the people. Maybe this is old news. If it is old news, that could be the case. Old news, by the way, the tweet I showed you, let me just bring that tweet back up. I need to qualify this. She didn't just say this yesterday. E. Jean Carroll, hold on a second. She said this in 2011. Okay? 2011. So I just needed to clarify that. That's not like she just went off again. But it shows you that she's been in this place for a while now. Cloud cuckoo land for a while now. God, that video with Anderson Cooper is rich. So, what did we learn? If this is true about what's happening in Oregon, what did we learn? Well, the most powerful form of protest is non-participation. There it is. It's not about having guns. It's not about going out and punching other people. It's just non-participation. Not participating. That's the most powerful form of protest. What would YouTube be like if all the so-called truther YouTubers or alternative YouTubers left? I'm sure YouTube would be just fine, but they would lose numbers. And it's happening. It's happening. Nathan Stoltman, he's like spending a ton of time on Twitch and other platforms. Owen Benjamin will stream his videos, and then they're done. They're done. He takes them down. He streams direct to YouTube, takes them down. So in some ways, he's already kind of leaving YouTube. And I'm sure at some point, YouTube will be really a lot less interesting than it once was. Because it's a place where original voices, and some people will say, well, they're hateful, or, whatever. but they're original voices. You're not going to hear some of the things that I'm talking about or other people that are talking. You won't hear them on talk radio. You won't. If you listen to talk radio, it is pretty much Republican pablum and pretty boring and pretty run-of-the-mill. There was a time when talk radio was kind of beginning to mirror what was going on with alternative media. There was this kind of back and forth. It was like talk media was sort of waking up. Talk radio was like, wow, okay, we got to start talking about these things because look what's happening over here. This group over here is getting a lot of traction. They're stealing some of our cues, so we need to talk about this. They don't do that anymore. Now they just kind of run out the tired and lame kinds of scenarios that just fit into sort of the Zio-conservative dialogue and narrative. It's just about checking boxes. Very rarely do you find an original voice now on AM radio, and if you do, they're probably going to be talking about 1 o'clock in the morning when everybody's asleep. Trust me, I listen to a lot of talk radio. It's not that interesting. Not that interesting. Most people in talk radio most hosts, they're for war with Iran. Of course, they're for war. They love that stuff. It fits into their big budget defense spending narrative. They love it. I was going to talk about something else. They've got about 10 minutes left today. Let me just check the time here. Because I have, let's see, today is going to be ending at 9:10. Okay, so I got about 5 minutes. Okay, Mr. Cruz is over on 15 minutes. Okay, sign in. Mr. Cruz, I see you perfectly with your texts over on Finca Felice says, I never use Google. I like Start Page. Solaris says, I've used Start Page for years, but you realize that it uses Google Engine. Finca says, yes, but the searches are private, not kept like Google. Okay. So, yeah. Yandex, I guess. Solara knows, but Solara is sharp, man. She's one of the stealthy super secret agents that are part of this. Ring Central has Zoom capabilities, more ability with text transcription secured. Ring Central, okay. HIPAA compliant, far cheaper than Zoom paid features. Ring Central, okay. Good to know, Ring Central. I'll check that out. Let's see, I think we were seeing that chasm widen every day, very painful to watch. They're now trying to push mainstream network news on, yes they are. Yes they are. Let's see, what else? Cheeky Monkey. Scoobs, hey Scoobs. I'm a Piscean empath that works in computers, training in cybersecurity. The shit I can see enter the Matrix scene. Robert helps keep my head and heart clear, not lose faith. Everybody come over to 15-minute site. I think it would be a good exercise for people to be able to migrate over there. So maybe what I'll do next week is I'm going to do a few more shows on YouTube simultaneously while I'm looking to hook up some other options. What did I just read on Vimeo? That Vimeo dumped Project Veritas, is that right? That's what Chris and Steve said. Interesting. BitChute's going to be the only place. I guess BitChute and Mike Adams' channel be the only place that some of this stuff can surface. Okay, I'll be signing my contract today with the event. The event will be up on the 15 Minutes of Flame side and on the robertphoenix.com side. I'll be working on the page, sign-up page today. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. I want to get 55 people to this event, and I have 25 rooms secured, which means some people will have to share a room, and I need to navigate that. Some people will get their own rooms. I don't have a ton of those available, but I do have a few. And the other option for me is if I cannot fulfill all the room quotas through the hotel, I will get an Airbnb place that is near where we're going to be having the event. And that means that you could basically have your own room in an Airbnb house. And maybe I can get a place that'll have 8 to 10 people that can be a part of that. But you're going to have to pay for that. And I can secure it, but you'll have to pay for that. Because that's how this is going to work. You pay for your rooms, pay for your airfare on your own. There's going to be a separate fee for everything I'm doing, providing the food, providing the guests, providing the entertainment, all that stuff. Right? So there's going to be 3 fees involved. You getting here, your room, and then paying for the event fee is not going to be an arm and a leg. Trust me, you'll be able to manage it. All right. So as of now, I'm going to have 25 rooms. If you want to share a room with somebody, let me know. I'll figure out a way to do this. And I'll pair people up that will cut your room cost in half. So I think the rooms are $110.